Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night Young at Heart, featuring nursery rhymes, stories, songs, poems, Mother Goose, Aesop's fables, Lewis Carroll, limericks, larks, epic stories of the great operas, and such. To keep us all young at heart, I'm Father James DiLuzio. Good to be back with you. Tonight I have a story that's very new to me and probably new to you. It comes from a book that was just given to me, a gift from a friend who has been enjoying Young at Heart. Who knew? Somebody out there is enjoying these. So this is from a book that my friend found in an old antique and bookstore called BOOKHOUSE. And it's Through Fairy Halls. Now, actually, this is still in print in a paperback version, but this is the old one, original, I think, from 1920. So there's poems and stories and things. I'm telling you a bit of part one of the first story that I've read, which was entitled The Story of Fairyfoot. Now, I'm going to embellish it a bit because it's an old story. And it came from an older book called Granny's Wonderful Chair. I think they're all out of print, but not to read it. I'm going to embellish it and have some fun with it. But everything, the essence of this story is definitely what has been put down in print. All right, so the story of Fairyfoot. There's the name of this beautiful city called, I'm going to make a change too. It was called Stumpinghame. Stumpinghame? I'm going to call it Stomping Ground. Stomping Ground. Why? Because all the people there have huge feet. They can't dance, they can't run, they can't skip because their feet are so big. They just have to stomp around. So my adaptation, I think, is an improvement on the old Stumpinghame. I'm calling it Stomping Ground. Now, what's interesting about this, do you want to know how big the people's feet are? I mean, they're big. Picture yourself jumping on your bed and standing up straight in your bed. And suddenly your feet, I assume average size feet for a human being, would just grow and grow. And between both feet, you would fill the whole perimeter of the bed. Yeah, that's big. Very big feet. So, but this is considered, of course, that's what they know. It's considered attractive to these people. Furthermore, the bigger your feet, the higher you go on the social ladder. So that, of course, the king and queen are the people who have the biggest feet of all, and the queen in particular, well, her feet are, at the very least, the size of a canoe. Now, everyone was happy there. It was a beautiful city. Everything was made, of course, to accommodate these big feet people. And beyond the city, there were acres and acres and acres of orchards, beautiful orchards growing anything that you might desire to eat as for fruit. Apples and pears and peaches and lemons and grapefruit and oranges. The weather was just perfect for everything. Go figure. And then beyond that, there were fields and fields of wheat and barley and corn and flax. They were very fortunate people. And then beyond that, acres and acres of pasture land for the most plump and beautiful sheep that you could possibly imagine, with the finest wool. And beyond that, a forest deep and thick that went far beyond what the eye could see, that the learned people of the city thought was the end of the world. No one dared go into the forest. So all was well in Stomping Ground, until one day the king and queen, already having many, many children, had yet another, a little boy. But to their shock and amazement, the child was born with feet more akin to feet like yours and mine. They were horrified. They were disgraced. Everyone didn't know what to do. The Stomping Ground people were speechless. In mortification, the king and the queen said, "This child can't stay in the castle. Let's send him out as far away from the castle as possible. Let's send him out to the shepherds, out by the pastures. Let them raise him." So they did. They sent him to the shepherds, the head shepherds, who were not eager to take care of this baby either, but it was by command of the king and queen, so they do. And as the baby grew into a little boy and reached about the age of 7, he had a miserable life because none of the children would play with him, and they would be stomping around. He, of course, had the agility to jump and run and frolic and skip and jump rope, all the things that they really couldn't do. Well, they could jump rope, but it was difficult. So you would think they would envy the boy, but they thought everything he did was absolutely horrible. Poor kid. And the head shepherd and shepherdess, sent him to the farthest part of the pastures near the forest. So that gives you that's the setup, my friends. And you'll see what will happen next week. Hope you're enjoying the story of Fairyfoot. Oh, that's, by the way, the name they gave the little boy, because he had to have some contagion by some fairy or something, thought the king and queen. Have a wonderful weekend. It's nice and chilly here in New York. It's 12 degrees as I tell you this story. 12 degrees. It's supposed to go down to 9 tonight, and the high tomorrow, 22. New York has finally gotten some winter weather. We've had days in the 40s and the 50s, creeping up to 60 just a week or so ago. Very bizarre. Very bizarre. But I hope you're all nice and toasty and warm if you're in the northern parts of the country. And for those in the south, I hear they're getting snow in Dallas. Crazy. But just be safe, stay warm, and have a good weekend indoors. God bless.